Now, looking back at our main champion's mindset mind map here, the next trait or characteristic of a champion, as you'll see in the guide, is fearlessness. So we're going to do the same things we did before and focus in, zoom in, and let you take a look at all the specific aspects of fearlessness from the mind map perspective. Again, keep this sort of working in conjunction with what you see in the guide slash workbook. So in terms of fearlessness itself, it's simple. It's defined as the fact or the state of being fearless. And the key thing here to remember is that fearlessness requires balance. It's one thing to basically wreak havoc in all areas of your life and be totally fearless in everything you do as a bold person, but you want to kind of keep the reins on a little bit. You don't want to overdo it to the point where you start damaging yourself or damaging the relationships around you. And so that's a careful balance, and really it comes up to you to define what that is for yourself. Obviously, if you're naturally a more timid, reserved person, then being more bold is probably a good move. Whereas if you're the kind of person that really acts too quickly and maybe gets yourself in a little bit of trouble because of your lack of fearlessness or your over aggressiveness, then you might want to bring that in a little bit. But either way, fearlessness is very, very important. The key thing is this next point, is that fearlessness or fear, pardon me, exists in everybody. But the people who are fearless, the people who become champions, do not allow that fear that does exist inside of them to interrupt what they're doing. They feel the fear and do it anyway, so to speak, and they work on strategies and systems in their own life that let them work through the fear so that it doesn't hold them back. There's a great Gandhi quote where he says, "Fearlessness is the first requisite of spirituality. Cowards can never be moral." It's a very powerful quote. Let's take a look at John F. Kennedy as a great example of fearlessness. Presidents and leaders of countries often demonstrate fearlessness, and Teddy Roosevelt and JFK are respected presidents who demonstrated this trait. This can be seen by their ability to be confident in their actions and being courageous by following through on their convictions. Teddy Roosevelt took the view that a president should be the steward of the people and should take whatever actions were necessary for the good of the people without breaking the Constitution. And he ended up being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for mediating the Russo-Japanese War. And he worked tirelessly on his convictions and was never afraid. That's the key here. He was never afraid to follow his dreams. A true expression of fearlessness. So let's now talk about a fearlessness exercise that you can begin working on. And think about it this way. Fear is often a healthy response to a true danger. And I mean, since the earliest days of our existence, fear has been a vital force in keeping us alive. Having said that, it can also totally hold you back from your true potential. And misplaced or irrational fear is especially troubling in any efforts to develop a champion's mindset. Much like persistence, overcoming fearlessness can really only be attacked head on. And one of the first things I suggest is for you to write down all of your fears. And then what you want to do is go through this list and write down a reason why you shouldn't have that fear. The key here is that this is going to be really helpful in your psychology to start putting these things into perspective. This list is really a great start for anyone who wants to combat their fears. I'd even suggest printing out the list so that the next time you're faced with a fear from the list, you can take it out and it'll give you a quick reminder of why it's irrational and why you want to think otherwise. But you can't just make lists and hope to conquer your fears. You need to face them. So choose one. Start with one of the fears on this list and dedicate some time this week to just face it. Don't move on in this program until you've chosen a fear and then go at addressing the problem. Write it down, write your plan of action below on the guide that you'll see attached to this exercise, and then term this something that you got to do ASAP. Make this your priority to deal with your fear. Not just it's not going to be something that goes away forever, but start dealing with it now using this exercise and then make it part of something that you do on an ongoing basis. Again, go to the guide. You can set a specific date for this first one and make sure that you do not move on in the program until you've dealt with this particular exercise.